count?
I think not. Wait.
We're going to do it this way. I'm Tom, and I convinced Kanji that I'm a part of Channel Awesome. I have the Weird Video Games Show on Blistered Thumbs. Hi there. I go by Vangelist on the internet. I do coverage on toys as well as a little bit of tokusatsu. I do tour reviews on Vangelist.ca, YouTube, and I got the glasses, and I also do podcasts on TFW 2005, Pension Justice, and sometimes Bushnet. But yeah! Full of Australians.
Hey everybody, my name's Justin. I am Jew Wario on That Guy with the Glasses and on Blistered Thumbs. I cover mostly import video games, but I've also kind of stretched out to import movies and things like that. Some tokusatsu, some sentai, but also just some general, regular movies as well, and sometimes domestic games as well. So.
Hi guys, I'm Kaylin Dixon. You might know me better as Mars Girl, also on That Guy with the Glasses, of course. I do mostly reviews of animation. I have done anime, though I think I've kind of been leaning more along the lines of North American animation, and occasionally do comparisons between a Japanese product and an American product, trying to pull off the same story, and occasionally do news stories about anime that is relevant to North America.
Oh, I almost died there. It was awesome. Anyway, I'm Mike the Birdman Dodd. I do stuff with thisweekingeek.net, thatguytheglasses.com. I'm also on radio in Canada and the US. I'm on Clear Channel Networks, and I also review RoboCop erotic fan fiction. The answer is always RoboCop, just so you know.
No, the answer is Well, I guess we're opening the floor to questions now, so...
Get your hands up.
Wow, this is going to be a boring Q&A.
I can tell you stories about stuff I saw.
So my question is for Vangelis. First, big fan. Actually, I just wanted you to ask you if you could tell people sort of how it is that you review toys on the internet. It seems it's a little bit out of the way from what the other folks on the panel do.
Yes, should I scream or should I use the microphone?
Mike's coming your way.
Projectile.
I'll scream anyway. Reviewing toys is, to me, I think, something that is getting closer to the level of pseudo-serious journalism as video games and movies and everything else. Video games being a much closer example. There are several sites out there which are now upping the level of toy coverage to something you can see as a little bit more legit. It is still about fun things, but what I want to contribute is, with doing toy reviews, it started off as, hey, I got a camera and YouTube is new, I will film a toy while I talk about it because they emulate. So you can see it emulating and have a fun time. But now it's become more of a mixture of product review as well as working in your thoughts on the fiction that the toy draws from and perhaps your thoughts on the engineering, the delivery of it. It really does help to get to know, or at least to enable people from the industry so you can learn some of the answers to questions like, why don't they make that 15-foot tall transformer out of die-cast metal and children's bones that has like 500 joints in it and can turn into a walrus? And they will tell you why, because there are actually pretty decent answers for that kind of stuff. So toy reviews are all about, make it about the product, make it about the fiction. It's kind of a unifying review style. And as far as journalism goes, I think it is going to be something that can be a lot more serious than it is now, and I want to do something. I'm going to hit this desk a whole lot, by the way. It makes me feel like I'm, in control. All right, that was an answer to the question.
I have a question about the Channel Awesome forum, and I'm not sure if you guys can answer it because I'm not sure if you're an audience actually involved in that. How do you get banned? Like, I was actually talking about the topic we were talking about off the video, and I got banned even though I don't think they did anything wrong. How do I know about this?
who are even our depending on the forum, I think we have different moderators. Like I think Sean moderates my sub-forum, and I don't know. Well, yeah, we got sub-forums for Blistered Thumbs, and then for Inked Reality, and then inside those sub-forums is the sub-forum for each individual.
Oh, they probably none of us are actually, of the five of us, we aren't involved in the moderating side of things. But I believe, in the case of a forum, it is a case where, especially with an attached forum, the moderators are sometimes very separate from the content producers. So unfortunately, I don't know if we can really give an answer for that. Especially because I haven't seen the thread in question myself. I don't do much moderating across the internet, really. I apologize, I can't come up with a better answer for you there.
Guy's a toad hat.
George Wario. About books. 2 questions about the hat. Where'd you get the hat?
Made it.
And what's the story behind it and everything?
What's the story behind it? Yeah, it's actually witchcraft. It's a dark ritual that I perform. Very, very deep, very, very awesome. You think I'm joking? No, no, I am. I have a buddy. Long and short of it is going to be that I have a buddy who is named Jonathan Mann, and he goes by the name Game Jew. Does a lot of really great music. If you ever really interested in some, he does a song a day. And he writes a song a day about anything. Sometimes it's something on his head. But he also had a character also named the Game Jew. And I became a quick fan. He used to write songs, that were just a lot of fun. And he had a buddy in his group that also wore a toad hat, actually. Jew Toadstool was his name. And I thought, wow, here's a guy who's really embracing his Judaism and also a gamer and not afraid to say it. Well, at the time, my moniker online was Professor Noriaki Kakuin from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Nobody knew how to spell it. Nobody knew how to say it. And so I was like, well, I got to find a new moniker. Well, hey, and I asked Game Jew if it would be all right. And John was like, dude, you're my friend, that'd be fine. Trying to think of what to call myself, and I was like, well, Jewigi's out. Although, unfortunately, Diamanda Hagen kind of brought that back. I thought, well, Wario, because I always choose Wario in a game because I think he's funny, he's brash and bold, he's strong, things that I'm kind of not. I thought, well, okay, I'll make a Wario hat. So I found a yellow hat on Amazon. I did a drawing of a W, took it down to an embroidery place, had him make it, and and sometimes as much as I want to get away from the whole JEWWARIO and just do J-Dub, people seem to like the J-Dub, so I keep the J-Dub hat. But yeah, that's the whole story behind the Jew Wario and the hat. Do I ever take it off? Yeah, but I got hat hair. You don't want to see that. No, not a woo. Not woo. So much not woo.
I know your pain.
I am Jim.
Hey guys, mediocre fan. I know you guys stream Lionel Bergman, Mars Girl, Wario. Matt does do sometimes. From your regular ticket reviews and being, control of your own video to flip, streaming seems a bit difficult, joining different kinds of videos, movies, and all that. How do you feel, how is your experience towards streaming more now than you do with videos?
I'll say
I don't know. I mean, I tend to have more fun with streaming as opposed to producing a video, simply because there is no turnaround. You can do whatever you want. I mean, I know when Justin streams, he just comes just to hang out, and streaming is more like it's a really cool way to interact with your community. I mean, you also get a lot of really cool feedback from your community when you can just interact with them live instead of sending an email or a Twitter or whatever, as opposed to producing a video, which you hope it's good. With a stream, if someone says, hey man, you suck, you can stop immediately what you're doing and make it not suck. So I'm going to throw the mic to Justin because you're wearing a yellow hat, or maybe Caitlin.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been doing some live streaming for a while myself too, but I'm not that kind of a producer. I don't think I do live very well, unless somebody can tell me that I do otherwise. Because all I really do is stream video games that I feel like playing at that given time and hope that somebody wants to watch me play them. And I was never really like, man, people actually watch Let's Plays and stuff. I just used it more as motivation to actually finish the game. And if I can sit there and talk to people at the same time, then that makes it kind of double interesting. But I wouldn't produce like a video, like a review or anything, as a stream, because I just don't feel like I'm the type of personality that can go around and do that. But maybe you guys are different.
Guess we'll just go down the line. For me, like Birdman said, for me, it's just a way to interact with the fan community that's kind of grown and to like me. And to me, you guys even liking what I'm doing is completely, it blows my mind. So I'm just some schmuck who does a video every once in a while, but you guys like it, and that means a lot to me. And so I want to kind of, people want to talk to us. I like that. I want to talk to you guys. So I've been doing it for almost a year and a half, almost 2 years. And we've got regulars who come into the stream and stuff. I've just started to stream video games and stuff. And it's amazing how many people will come out and watch it. And also, like Kaylin, it's a good chance for me to kind of give a tease about what kind of game I might be reviewing next. And also, incentive for me to finish that darn thing, and to show, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. I have played the game. There is footage out there of me playing the game. I didn't rip it from YouTube. So, it can be a simple thing. What do you think when you do yours? Because you said you're brand new to this.
Yeah, I've been doing streaming off and on because I really like MC-style interaction with an audience because I'm an attention whore, but I also find it really fun. And the thing I've been finding with streaming is I'm going to get digital hippie, by the way, just, I'm really enjoying streaming. My main problem is actually the equipment barrier because I cannot stand the fact that I am stuck trying to show physical objects and all I have is my MacBook diddly thing that's stuck in the top of my lid. I've been thinking of getting an HD webcam because it took me months to realize that my nice HD camcorder can't just jack into my computer and start magically being a webcam. Luckily, I learned that through someone else trying to do that and then getting told that they were really dumb, and I didn't have to be the one who answered. Instead, I just stood in the back and I was like, yeah, how could you think that? And I quietly went home and took that off my list of things to do. But I think streaming has a real big future because there are now actually consumer-grade TriCasters as low, I'm going to say as low as, and don't punch me when I say this, as low as $2,000. Because basically a TriCaster is a very expensive piece of hardware. He's pulling his sleeves up. He's like, I'm going to put one right through your face. I was just at a trade show where Roland had a VR3 and a VR, I want to say 5 or 7, $2,000 and $5,000 TriCast systems, which are basically, they can take like multiple camera inputs, high quality camera inputs, high quality XLR mic inputs, 1 or 2 touchscreen interface split transitions, all in this box. The $5,000 one can even record in the box. Its output is 1 USB port, like just 1 USB port. Lets you do professional streaming wherever you want. And I think that could be a real big future for web media because you can kind of bring back the personality-driven variety show, just provided you're in a location where you have like even just like 2 or 3 friends who might come over, set up like 3 cameras. I mean, it'll be an investment, but if you start off with just webcams and software TriCasters, move into this consumer-level TriCaster hardware that I didn't even know existed. I think there's a real big future for streaming on every advantage. I mean, with video games, you guys also, you guys have to get the kind of stuff that can let you even broadcast the picture of the video game on the web, which is a whole other battle I've heard about that I'm kind of glad I got tempted to try to do that once for a Transformers video game, and that would have been real dumb to spend all that time and money to stream a video game once. But yeah, I think streaming has a big future, and I think it's great for personality-driven content because, as you guys have said, it lets you get to know a regular bunch of people come to your stream. Like a friend of mine, Dashiana, over in Finland, I only know her because I was streaming when in Finland people were awake. Because I have a bad habit of streaming for an upwards of 8 to 10 hours at a time because I can't shut up, like right now. So it's a great way to meet people because you'll have an audience of maybe even just 20 or 30 folks. A lot easier to talk to like just 20 or 30 folks in a chat room when you're the only one with audio. That actually sounded like a real dick thing to say. I just realized none of y'all can say anything, so just blah, blah, blah.
I haven't streamed before. I've considered it, but I have so many projects on the... I have so many projects on the go, I don't want to commit to anything right now. But I do have some ideas. Scary ideas. I have nothing more to add. Scary.
The nostalgia critic back there.
I'm a Phil Money fan, and I saw Jane up to make the review. I was curious, who games you start that one off?
That would actually be me. I asked him. Yo, you know, I just asked him, you know, and he said yes. You know, little Yankee Jay coming in. No, actually, I asked him if he would like to do a crossover, and because we hit it off really, really well. And yeah, well, Phil, you know, I'm gonna love you. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Just, you know, thinking he was a cool guy, and so I wrote a script. And how it usually works is that if somebody has an idea for something like this, for a video or something, they write a script and send it to the other person and say, "Am I writing you well? Am I getting your voice?" And you know, that's actually a lot of the positive feedback is like, "Wow, you wrote Phil pretty well." Yeah, and so it's kind of funny. He's gone on. I guess Tropes said, "Wow, you know, this is a horrible review. He was such a you know, low-brow comedy." And he was like, "You know, Justin wrote that. You know, it was just him." So yeah, that was the story behind it. Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
Phil, if you're watching this, you didn't hear it. He thought you wrote the script, and it was spot on. So you did good.
I'm tweeting out.
I thought that too.
This is Tomorrow's Girl and Juwario. Do you have any advice for somebody who's thinking about starting a review show?
Show or a review show?
Yeah, we'll do it together.
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. This is a hard question.
I know. It really is.
I would say right off the bat, have an idea of what you're going to talk about, and you don't have to be an expert in it, but, you know, and I was actually thinking about this, about the panels that were going on here at the con, and this is actually kind of interesting. Some of these people aren't experts in their field, but they know what they're talking about because they've done stuff. We just got back from the Dr. Holocaust one, where he was working on guns and changing a Nerf gun into a steampunk-looking gun. And he hasn't worked with metals, he hasn't worked with other certain things, but he knew this certain thing, and he knew it very, very well. And I think that's pretty much all of us down this line. We don't know everything about something. I don't know everything about importing. I don't know everything about Japanese video games. She doesn't know everything about, well, she does know everything about anime. But, wow, really bad. But you get the idea. Know your topic. Don't just say, I like sci-fi movies, so I'm going to... How well do you like sci-fi movies?
In fact, on top of that, don't be like me in my first year to year and a half of doing it, because I was... when I originally started on That Guy with the Glasses, it was because I entered a contest to be the nostalgia chick, and then they were like, well, we have our nostalgia chick, but we still want you to stay on because you did a good job. And then I was like, what the hell do I do now? Because because I'm not the nostalgia chick, so I had no idea what my direction was supposed to be, and so I bounced all over the place with different interests of mine, until finally I've kind of narrowed it down to like, man, I sure do just like animation as a whole, you know, and I think I'm better about Western animation than I am about Eastern, in fact, and I think a lot of other people can do the Eastern animation topic better than I can. So basically what I'm saying is find a topic, kind of like what you're saying, find your topic that you love so much that you're so hands-on with it. Like, you don't have to be in the industry, you don't have to know anybody in the industry, you talk about what you really like, but you leave it at that, and like I said, don't be like me and jump around from topic to topic, because then you just look like this fool who's ADHD and can't keep your mind on one single topic.
And also, don't be like her.
Yeah, don't
find
ever,
your voice.
Ever.
It's bad.
In any way, shape, or form.
Don't ever. She'll find you. No, but and I will kill you. I mean, like, in the sense that find your own voice. I've said many times, and actually they had a little funny thing on Tigwatig today, was it? Yeah. You know, things that Tigwatig fans say, and one of them was, the age of the angry reviewer is over. The age of the angry reviewer is over. Actually, find a different way to review something. You know, so many people get angry at something.
I think that's probably also partially why when I originally went out for the Nostalgia Chick contest, I didn't end up as the Nostalgia Chick, because what I thought people wanted at the time was a female Nostalgia Chick, like carbon copy. I thought that's what people wanted, and certain people thought that was funny, but really it kind of turned out that what the staff wanted was somebody who could review those female nostalgic things, but not necessarily channel Doug Walker. So, yeah, don't try and be a carbon copy imitation of somebody else. Be you, as much you as you can possibly be. Yeah. I know that sounds so attacked to the end of a Saturday morning cartoon show, but yeah, be smart and be who you are.
But if you know, and you can even notice that, you know, Angry Joe, he's not so angry anymore. He really goes into detail. It's not like, this thing sucks, this thing pisses me off. Yeah, he's Angry Joe, but he goes, this is one reason why I really like his reviews, is because he goes into depth. He tries to break the game. He tries to figure out everything there is about the game.
Boy, does he break some games
about it. That's like enough. That's why I like Vangelis's reviews. He goes into the toy. He shows you how it works, and he details. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. You know, is everything going well? You know, it's just, what do you think that you could tell the world that nobody else is doing? Psycho Taku almost didn't do videos because he saw me. And he was like, well, somebody's already doing Japanese video games. Well, shit. Well, hey, but, you know, I think I can do it in a different way. And he did it in a different way, and it was completely different than what I did. And he's still doing it, you know, little secret that's coming out, but it's something, he's still doing something that's going to be very, very special here very, very soon. You know, it's just, am I just going to be another voice that's out there, or do I have something that I can actually give and let people know about? And that's what I would say. And if you say yes, then do it. Oh, please.
One of the things about doing this, as I said, be unique, be your own voice, etc. And to avoid getting lost in the shuffle of all these voices, of all these new reviewers, production value cannot be stated enough. If your show looks like crap, no one's going to watch. And I'm not saying you have to go out and buy like a $6,000 Sony camera or anything, because you can get away with a good HD camera for under $1,000, even under $500. And as long as your show looks good, I mean, and this is such a weird thing, lighting will make your show look phenomenal. Even if it's on a shitty camera, if your lighting is nice and even, I mean, Google this term, 3-point lighting. and this will make your videos look so much better. Then eventually you can start learning about color balance. Like, I originally went to school for television. Somehow I ended up in radio. Figure that one out. But video production, I mean, that's why I like Angry Joe's show so much, because it looks phenomenal. Because it's so well lit.
Yeah.
And then there's Ben's Eye show, too.
Yeah, and it took me a while to figure out that a $5 halogen light from Home Depot could just totally change everything.
And boxing those lights, making sure that
They don't burn your house down?
Yeah. Boxing them and, you know, making the light very focused, because for a while I had this lamp, just your standard table lamp, and I was like, well, I need some light. How about I just, you know, take the cover off the lamp, the shade off the lamp, and then the light just went everywhere and it looked awful. But if you can direct this light at you or your subject or whatever, then gosh, just a single light doing that does wonders.
Yeah, and like you can do that with like simple paper, like over these lamps. I mean, don't leave them on because gods will burn your house down.
Yeah.
But another thing too is audio
board.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, when I went to television school to direct lights, we used to just use cardboard and direct the light with duct tape. And it's really ghetto, but it works. And another thing, audio quality. If you sound nice and clear, it's phenomenal. You can get really good USB mics for under $100. As long as they're phantom powered, your voice is going to come across nice and clear. Something right now for you audio nerds, sometimes you'll notice when I say P words or B words, I'm popping. If you get a thing called a windscreen or a windsock, you can reduce that. That's called a pop filter. God, I hate when I pop. Once you pop, you just can't stop. And it'll make your thing a lot smoother, and people will take you more seriously just because your voice is so clear. If you're speaking clear, you're speaking concise, people are more apt to give you the authority to listen to you. So that'd be my advice from the production side of it.
Cheap popper, just take a wire hanger, wrap it around a huge mug, and then put a piece of nylon over it and just tie the end.
Just make sure it's nice and secure though. Yeah. Otherwise you'll get handling noise like this.
And if I could just add a little bit, just to give some context, right now there is an excellent audio recorder called the Zoom H1, which you can get for like $100 tops. Wonderful double condenser mic recorder. And this is also the age where proper independent filmmaking is moving into consumer purchasable DSLRs. The Red and Canon are having their own little feud now on the lower end of really good looking quality. What that means for you guys is that 5 years ago was the age of, yo, my cheap camera can do 720, this is awesome. I think in like 5 years it's going to be, yo, my cheap camera can do like fixed focus with a proper ring and depth of field and film in 1080. And it was also under $500. Like the equipment crawl is coming up, and with that comes, as you said, like there's a bit more of a need to move with that equipment crawl if you're not ahead of the equipment crawl. And on the right side, it's also all becoming less expensive. So you can do your depth of field stuff and whatnot. Go and hire yourself a focus puller and then abuse him or her horribly.
And it's also not that hard, actually. I mean, once you learn all the basics of photography, to make your stuff look good, it's not that hard. I mean, you don't have to go to a fancy film. There's a Dalek in here. That's awesome. It's actually not that hard. I mean, a lot of the people, as far as I understand, on That Guy with the Glasses don't have any formal training. And some of their stuff, like I said, looks phenomenal. It's not that hard. You can pick up a For Dummies book, and you can be a YouTube star too.
Yeah, just if you can afford it, get a decent camera that does at least 720. Get at least 3 or 4 lights. If you can, please try to get a good audio thing, because good audio with a shoddy picture looks like it comes off better than a good picture with shoddy audio. It's a really weird effect, but I find that's often the case.
Okay, I don't want to downplay anything that's been said here, but I will say that substance, I think, is much more important than video and audio quality.
Well, you have to be.
So, even if you're on an extreme budget and you can't buy really expensive equipment, if everything you say is interesting, entertaining, and thought-provoking, that's going to trump everything else.
I think that also there's something to be said about written subject too. I think it's pretty overlooked, but we have a number of writers on Blistered Thumbs too, and really so long as what you're saying, you source where you're getting your information from, you're entertaining, and then in the case of writing, spelling is kind of crucial, so use spell check. It's spelling and grammar, people will not take you seriously unless you look like you're taking your writing seriously. So, you're and there and there, and all that good stuff.
If you actually know how to write and do videos, it's great because also, like writing, as you said, is very important. It is something that in the digital age is actually becoming, I think, more accessible again. Like it's almost coming around because everyone you can load up text on one of these in about 5 seconds, unless you're on a crappy plan. And it's a great way to get a message across. You can write dynamically. Look at some of the better video game journalists out there. Some of the article writers on Blizzard Thumbs, even just anyone who can write regularly and get feedback on their writing. There's some really cool stuff out there. And also going off what Tom said, yeah, if you have like a miniature dolly and like 15 lenses on your DSLR and a lighting kit, and you bought Magic Bullet and Final Cut Pro and Avid and Adobe just because you're that hardcore and you are swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck, but you actually suck at making stuff, then no one's going to watch it. So, keep doing these things.
Well, and I would also say lastly, don't feel like you need to be on camera. There's so many people out there.
I quit deciding to be on camera so often. I just decided, man, the audio because I don't really have a very good external mic, and my lighting isn't as good as a few other producers, so I decided to pre-record my audio and set visuals to it more often than putting myself on camera, which I do from time to time, but, it's...
Yeah. Don't feel like you have to be a face. Don't feel like you have to put on a hat or dye your hair or wear a suit or be normal. And just be yourself. And if you don't want to be on camera, don't be. We've got lots of people who do great reviews and are really positive part of it, but yeah. So, anyways, wow.
I guess
Guy in the screw hat.
I don't really want to get up, but with the upcoming superhero Tyson movie, there's a lot of crossover opportunities. Are there any in particular you guys are looking forward to?
He's jumping at the bit. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Okay, number one. I am so happy that Narutaki is... Okay, I'm going to go into jargon here. I'm sorry for everyone. They're bringing Narutaki back, and maybe they'll give him his story, because that is a good actor who needs material to get his awesome character actor going across. That movie looks super exciting as long as you don't go in expecting to the be-all and end-all of all tokusatsu. It looks like it could be really fun, though. And they got the dude from Biohunter, and now he's like the Rider Hunter. He looks like a kiter, and like friggin' so much. What the hell is Great Zangiak? What's happened? Why is Captain Marvel so like? What happened? You tell me.
I'm gonna like blow the wind out of the sails here for a second, which is gonna be really sad. I don't like crossovers. I did not think that Kamen Rider Decade was particularly good.
It really wasn't.
And as far as Gokaiger is concerned, so long as they were pirates doing pirate things, the show was fine. Then you introduce other stuff, and like I think they did it better than Decade did. But it's like Toei blows at writing anymore. They really do. I don't believe that they're writing anymore. So
yeah, there's always stuff to make fun of, isn't there?
Like you're saying words I don't understand.
That's about as close as you're gonna.
We'll move on to the next question. So.
Skid for Brains is a Victoria-based sketch comedy group. I got to know because my friend Holly Johnson. You can find her on Facebook. She got to know the Skid for Brains people because they were doing a local sketch comedy in Victoria, and I got to know them through her because she is like a nexus of contacts for that stuff in Victoria. Somehow she's just able to connect everybody. And I got to know those guys. They were very cool guys. I worked with them on CSI Victoria, which I forgot to put on the schedule for this week. And then we did a few more things, and I started to get in a real good groove with them. We did like 2 really cool sketches that I was like featuring in, and then I moved over to Toronto. And they're in Victoria, so that makes everything harder again. But they also taught me the value of using a DSLR with a lot of really good equipment, because they've got a really good cinematographer. This desk is going to just collapse in half, eventually. That's it.
Scott.
That happened yesterday.
You have access to a TV and a system. What game do you play? See, this is why RoboCop is not the answer.
Dance Dance Revolution. That's the only answer.
Saints Row the Third.
If I could only do this in, I don't know, honestly, Mass Effect 2, if I had to pick, or alternatively, if I had to go retro, Illusion of Gaia for the Super Nintendo.
Are we doing retro now then?
Well, yeah, of course.
And then Mega Man 2.
Chrono Trigger.
Everyone says Chrono Trigger.
Literally is my favorite game.
Well then, you know what? I will rebel and say Shaq Fu. Because I'm hoping eventually, once I play it, I will kill myself and not be trapped inside said airport. I will reincarnate.
Go ahead, man. You can't think of anything? Monster Hunter.
Did you say airport or airplane?
Airport.
Oh, okay.
Airport of the dance.
This is the man in the back here. Yeah! And he wasn't paying attention. That's cool.
He just got dissed by Phoenix Wright. He just played the sound.
Super Metroid.
And Sly Cooper's behind you, I think. Nice. You crashed me.
I think that is.
Okay, yeah, we're going on.
Where are we? Go back here.
And I have a question about the Titan AE. You were saying that the CGI was not blending well with the 2D animation, and I agree with that, but I don't think that's so much as Don Bluth's fault. Like, he was just in charge of the 2D animation, and he did that well.
No, and that like didn't really come across very well in the initial review. I want to say I addressed that when I did my kind of response to the flood of people who came in, because that was a crossover review, and that just, it was totally different from everything that I ever do. And no, Don Bluth was, in fact, he wasn't even the first choice as far as animators are concerned for that movie, for Titan AE, just in case nobody could hear. No, I think it was just his 2D art direction. You know, he had nothing to do with the story. They were, I think, Fox Animation Studios was already kind of going under, and they already knew that Titan AE was their last-ditch effort. And I don't actually think that it was Don Bluth himself who sunk the studio, but no, you're right. The CG and the 2D animation, they didn't blend, and I don't think it was Don Bluth's fault. It's totally right.
My other question would be, what is it is more that it didn't age well, rather it was done wrong? Like, I think it was done right for the time, but it looks bad right now, because now you're used to
I don't know. I think even at the time that, like, it was cool to be like, oh man, there's CG in this cartoon, but there were other cartoons that were doing CG and 2D integration. Like, you go back to 1992, Beauty and the Beast, and granted, they spent all this money on like one frickin' ballroom scene, okay? Or it was 91, excuse me. And 1992 was Aladdin, and they used CG for the frickin' the Cave of Wonders lion head. And it's like they spend so much money on that, and then the flying carpet and that. I think those still hold up, and that was the early 90s. But Titan AE was made in 1999, released in the year 2000, and that's like, there's just no excuse for the two looking bad together. I don't, in personal opinion.
I thought it looked kind of cool with the monsters. Is that what you mean? Like they did?
Like there were points in time where the characters would be inside of big old spacesuits, and the character faces were behind their glass were 2D animated, but their whole body was this weird CG, and so the two things But the two things don't go together. They just don't.
I have to go back and
The dredge look fine because they're made of pure energy and they're supposed to look like that. But when you got this 2D face on a 3D body, it's so weird looking. Oh, dude, there's this magnificent, and then throws him down the stairs, and I'm like, wow, this movie's GG. Oh my god.
Kill Nathan Lane!
No, don't kill Nathan Lane.
I have one question for Mars Girl and then one for both of you.
Do I get a mic?
We've
got somebody who's got it right now.
Do you find, I'm not as familiar with American channels, but do you find that anime on like TV in conventional times is sort of dead?
It's dying. That is for sure. Like the death of Toonami on Cartoon Network, pretty much. And Adult Swim, they keep showing Fooly Cooly over again, which is how many episodes? 4? So 6? 6 episodes long, and they've been showing it over and over again for years. And like the guys at Adult Swim, or what's the name of the actual studio?
Cartoon Network.
Not Cartoon Network. Is it? I'm thinking. What is the name of the bumper that's at the end of a bunch of Adult Swim specific? William Street. It's William Street who basically runs that, and they don't like anime. They really kind of don't. Although I think it's because, you know, it takes so much money to license and show anime on television. So the only stuff that you can really air for cheap these days is the kiddie stuff, you know, the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Beyblade, and all that good junk. The stuff that even the Japanese guys, you know, people will whine and complain about, oh, they edited my show up and now Sonic isn't as hardcore as he used to be, and they changed the music. And you know what? The Japanese producers are like okay with this because it's making them money too. People don't understand that. Japan doesn't care so long as they get yen. So those are the only. That's like the only anime that gets on TV anymore. So as far as the age of like good stuff like Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star, stuff like that getting broadcast on TV being in its heyday, I think it's just about dead, unfortunately. Oh yeah, so I heard. Which is why, what was the name of the one movie you were telling me about that they will not bring over here?
Only yesterday. It's a Studio Ghibli, and Disney won't bring it out.
Is that the weird raccoon one or whatever?
No, they brought that out over
there. No, it's they won't bring it. They had a little thing. Lasseter was on TMC, and they were showing all these Ghibli movies, row and row. And they finally got to Only Yesterday, and he said they're not going to bring this out to the U.S. because there's a little 5 to 6 minute discussion between two of the younger little girl characters about menstruation. And that alone is what. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, and I watched the entire show. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It's now one of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies, and I cannot help but cry every time I see that. It's a wonderful movie. Only Yesterday.
But to kind of bring that back to the point is that I think Lasseter has too much respect for Miyazaki to even want to bring it over and cut out that one little segment, because those two are like this. Those two guys love each other to death.
And I just have a quickie. For J-Dubs and Mars Girl, how do you like Canada?
It's cold. It is. The day before I left, it was t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops weather down in Texas. So it was amazing. It was beautiful. And then I get up here to this, and this is unusual to me, and I'm scared in a new foreign land. Otherwise, I appreciate that the dollar-to-dollar conversion is almost equivalent, and so I don't have to think too hard.
I'd like to say, in fairness,
for this guy, Sean Faust says you are his hero. Just so you know.
There you go.
I twittered a picture of the audience.
I'd like to say in fairness that it wasn't this cold just a couple of weeks ago. It was actually quite warm. We don't all live in igloos up here.
Yeah.
And
Speak for yourself.
I'm from
This is
DC.
still
I'm
pretty
used to seeing
warm.
California weather, so this is wigging me out too. I don't know what you Guelphanites do to deal with this kind of stuff.
Personally, this is just like Colorado, so I love Canada, and it's not just because you guys have really made a big difference. You, the con staff. And just going into places and seeing nice people and stuff, it's...
And
Poutine yet?
Not yet!
And why yes,
get on it!
And why yes, I am a big fan of Martin Short,
John Candy,
Strange Brew, are you sure you can do that?
Is that racist?
Todd in the Book of Evil, please.
Yeah!
Rick Moranis.
We know where to get poutine. We're getting your poutine.
Yeah, the mall. We saw it. It's there.
I think we have time for one or two... Do we have room?
The nostalgia critic got his hand up.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, Caitlin, I know you've been doing animated movies. Have you considered doing animated Western series?
I just recently talked about, the last video I put up was about Fievel's American Tales. It was specifically a sequel / spin-off something. It's like a 13 episode TV series based on an American Tale. Well, specifically the second movie, Fievel Goes West. And next once I'm done talking about an American Tale stuff, I'm going to be moving on to other spin-off stuff that Don Bluth had no involvement in, including the Dragon's Lair TV series. There was a short-lived Space Ace TV series. What other TV series? I know there's... I already talked about Land Before Time's TV series, and that... Oh, Lord. So yeah, TV series, and I have a couple on my shelf. Like, I want to compare the older He-Man to the newer He-Man, and for the longest time, I've just wanted to talk about Gem and the Holograms, and I don't have a good reason for that. I just really want to.
It's a badass theme song.
She's truly outrageous, but the Misfits are better.
But they're also stupid.
Hasbro is wanting to know if people want more Gem at New York Comic Con. They actually had a shelf of Gem customs and a person standing next to it in a Gem costume asking people for their opinions on Gem.
Well, so I hear they're kind of considering a reboot.
They have the property. It was in their they put out a comic at New York Comic Con called Unit E, which was basically a fun little comic to show you all the licenses they still have, and also all of them working as a team. So it was the Micronauts to fight Baron Karza, collecting heroes such as Gem, the Dino Riders, the Inhumanoids, Stretch Armstrong, Mask, Candyland, a whole lot of other people. That dude from Dungeons and Dragons has all the black skin and the two swords.
This is the Shadow Mask?
Driz Durnin. You know, the Swedish guy.
Driz, you know, the self-insert character that somebody decided to throw into D&D one day.
Yeah, he was totally in the book too.
Oh my god.
Hey, all respect to the Swedish, okay? You guys make beautiful meatballs. I love it.
We have time. We have 5
minutes, okay.
Ask your inappropriate questions now.
Better be inappropriate.
I'll have to look that up.
So you want to type in kids on YouTube,
I know the difference between a Z and a Z, okay? Which is not a difference. I know that. I'm well aware. You don't have to, like, explain to me, oh, well, Z is...
The difference is it's Z. Am I right, Canada? Yeah! I like how that woke up parts of the room that weren't even paying attention. They're like, Z!
Yeah, Zed!
Hey, I grew up with a Lord Zed, okay? I think I got
That
this
dude was
down.
freaky. He was like Robo Brain Satan, that guy. He was amazing. Other question?
One more?
Give him the hat.
Oh, this guy.
Thank you, Super Nintendo John.
Tom, first of all, big fan. Is there a weird video game that you would not review?
If it's weird, I'll review it. I mean, there are some that I'm really uncomfortable with, but I'll type them up because I think this weirdness needs to be shared with all the world. So, no, I can't think of anything. Unless it just like horribly offends me to the point where I become catatonic, but I have pretty thick skin.
How can you describe anything as so horrible after that hentai DX thing?
Yeah,
You don't exactly play it. Well,
You I'm talking about dirty stuff. Hey, I randomly have prizes from the convention, so heads up!
Watch out for camera equipment. Like I said, watch out for camera equipment.
Collateral damage.
Over here!
Now kill each other for my amusement!
Thanks, Dad. You nearly took out my magnificent lens.
Next, we're going to throw a chair into the crowd and see who catches it. So heads up.
Okay.
All right.
Now go to my panel in the Galt room.
Who wants to put a button on it for us?
I guess we're done. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Kisses.
My camera is sitting right next to the speaker. I'm sure my camera has plenty of good audio. Instead of having to swap back and forth between a half finished, half not, and it'll sound about as good as it'll sound better than the quality. It'll sound better than switching in between.